Hey, how's it going, everybody? Will Curran, Whiteboard Wednesday. Welcome back again. Today we're talking about this specific event layout and how it is going to get your attendees to fall in love with your event. I'm really excited to share this with you. This has been a concept and an idea that I've been toying around with, and I'm excited to finally share it with the world. But I gotta admit, I didn't come up with this idea. Just like all great things, I took this idea from a couple different events and kind of hodgepodged it together to make this like ultimate layout. And as I'm explaining this, you might be thinking to yourself, well, this isn't possible in my venue, or I have no way of doing it. All I'm looking for is you to take a little snippet of this and figure out how you can implement it into your event and maybe eventually have your attendees fall in love with your event as well. So I'm going to talk you guys through this. Obviously, it's very specific. If you want to do all of this, you're going to need a very specific type of venue to pull this off, but I think it's going to make your event awesome. So let's dive right on in. And real quick, this is primarily skewed to corporate conferences, corporate meetings, things like that. Obviously, this isn't like a wedding layout. This wouldn't be primarily for a social event. So there's a couple different components that are required to kind of pull this all off. But again, if you can pull part of it in, you know, for example, maybe there is a way to bring this into your wedding. I don't know. But let's start off with kind of what everything looks like. And we're going to start off with the main section where everybody enters and you kind of have this big, nice red arrow. Obviously, everyone comes to an event primarily usually through registration or the front entrance way, right? So let's say, for example, everyone's coming in, they come in registration, then they're going to come on into the first area they come into. And primarily in a lot of conference cases or event spaces, they're walking in and they just walk into like an empty hallway. And sometimes we put activities in there. Sometimes we have like whiteboards for them to draw on. Or they have like, you know, a place to have some seating to like hang out. Sometimes it's a meal room they walk into immediately. So what I'm proposing though is instead of having your front entrance, once they go past registration and everything, to walk straight into your exhibit hall. And that's what this exhibit hall is right here. And I'm gonna talk a little bit about the specific layout of an exhibit hall that I think is just amazing. And I actually stole this idea from Inbound, the marketing conference, though they don't like to be called a conference, they just like to be called an event. So it's something to keep in mind. So Inbound does this really interesting thing with their exhibit layout. So instead of doing the traditional rows and columns and everyone gets a 10 by 10 booth, or some people pay more and get 20 by 20 and things like that, that is so old-fashioned. They looked at how they could do it completely differently. And what they do is every single one of these exhibitors gets the exact same space, the exact same specs, the exact same signage. And you might be thinking to yourself, well, we do that already. But the way they do it is, instead of doing a booth in any sort of way, they do these kind of how would I describe it? A column, or you know, like a small wall essentially that separates them. And what they do is they put two vendors on each wall, one on one side and the other on the other side. They get their logo above it, they get a TV, and they get a high boy. That's it. And it keeps it really simple, so everybody has the exact same setup, so it keeps everyone obviously on an equal playing field. Not everyone has to have these multi-million-dollar booths with huge productions, and this is coming from a production guy. I want you to spend money on production, right? Everyone's getting the same exact thing. It levels the playing field. So what's great about this as well is because it's open air, and you know, like it's just literally a wall behind them, it forces that people have to can walk around them, and it keeps the flow of the entire layout of the exhibit hall really open, which is really cool. And what's also great about this is instead of having these big booths that you have to walk into, they're just kind of like all spread throughout the entire exhibit hall. And what's cool about that is it really makes it more relaxing. It makes it less intimidating for me as an attendee to feel the need to go into the exhibit hall. Because I'm not gonna lie, as an attendee, unless I really need to talk to a vendor, I don't go into the exhibit hall. Because I just know that I'm gonna walk down the hallways, people are gonna stop me, people are gonna try to create awkward conversations, try to sell me stuff. But obviously, as we know, as event planners, that exhibit halls are a great place to get business done and also are a great source of revenue because we want to sell these booths. So what they do is they create that wall, everybody has the same exact thing, and creates this really open floor plan. What they did is to take it to the next level is during the day they have like, you know, drink station right in the middle, and you know, probably have like some food stations spread throughout, and there's some activities happening around the edges as well, like massage booths and photo booths, and you know, there's soft seating for people to sit at couches and relax, and like, and you know, it's a big area. But during the night is the coolest thing. That's where this DJ comes in. At the end of the day, when everybody's done, and all the sessions are done, all the general sessions let out, and they obviously, like we'd love to do, we like to do happy hours in our exhibit hall to get everyone to come back and interact with them. Well, and they've done is they said, hey, we've had all day, you've had all the chance to do business all you want, let's turn this into a social space. So they put a DJ right in the middle, they have speakers everywhere, they have lights, and it turns into a club, and they call it Club Inbound. So cool. They don't even call it their exhibit hall, they just call it Club Inbound, which makes it so, I would use the word disarming. It makes you not think of it as an exhibit hall, it makes you think of it as this cool place to hang out. Super duper cool. So that's one of my favorite things. But guess what, guys? That's not the only piece of the layout that I love and that I think that you're going to get a ton of value out of. So the next level of this that they did, and I actually, the other kind of concept, this concept also came from another marketing conference called Icon, is this idea of using your exhibit hall as the primary place that people have to go in and go out of. And the way that they do this, Inbound does this as well, and so does Icon, is that Inbound does it with a piece of drape, which I think is just really, really cool. So they have this entire gigantic room, and then what they do is they put a piece of drape right here, and what they do is they actually put it on motors and rig it. So then what happens is, you know, let's say the exhibit hall opens up at 9 a.m., first general session starts at 10 o'clock, so at 9:55, they use the motors to lift the entire drape up, revealing the general session, which is so cool. And it's obviously this big, hugely impactful moment. I mean, literally hundreds of people are all waiting right here because they all want to get in to get the best seats because everyone an equal opportunity. It opens wide open so that way you're not having to squeeze through doors or anything like that. And what's so great about it is it just creates this super anticipating moment for the general session to open. And what's so amazing, and I love that reveal. Obviously, you can do that in a lot of different ways, right? Like you can do your normal general session, put a big drape and reveal it. But what I love about this layout and why people, I think it's gonna have attendees fall in love with your event, exhibitors are gonna fall in love with your event, and you're gonna fall in love with this, is that it requires every single person to walk through the exhibit hall in order to get to the general session. We know the general session is always the most popular piece of content. That's why we spend so much money on keynote speakers, the production for the stage, but forces every single person to hang out in the exhibit hall, to walk past exhibitors in order to get to the general session. So cool. It creates such a great intimate experience, and it's awesome. So that's, you know, no brainer, right? We kind of do this sometimes. You put exhibitors like in the foyer of the ballroom sometimes, you know, things like that. But the next level of this is then to have also the same area go into your breakout sessions as well. Again, creating this hub in the middle where all your attendees are going to be hanging out the entire time. What it's going to do is it's going to help your exhibitors sell more because they're going to feel disarmed that they're not hanging out in the exhibit hall, they're hanging out in this cool space. But then also, it is the one place you have to keep coming back to do your meetings, in between sessions, everything like that. So, it's a lot. It's a lot. And again, like I said, it's going to take a very specific type of venue to be able to do this. They obviously have a very, very large space to work in that they break up with the drape and everything like that. But think of little ways you can do this. I already kind of explained a little bit with it, with, for example, putting your exhibitors maybe in the foyer. If you're doing, for example, maybe a wedding, for example, maybe creating this space where it transitions and transforms over time to reveal and move people through it, rather than making them, oh, hey, okay, I want to go from the general session, I have to walk into an empty hallway where nothing's going on except for people on their cell phone, right? And then I'll go to the next one. It kind of takes you out of the event, whereas this really transitions and makes you fall in love the entire time all the way through. So I'd love to know if you have any unique layouts for your events that you think is awesome, or if you've done this before. I'd love to hear it and how it worked and some lessons that you learned along the way as well. But I hope this was extremely helpful. If it was, make sure to smash that like button. If you didn't like it, smash the dislike button, but let us know down in the comments below what we can improve upon when it comes to these videos. We're getting just nothing but great feedback, so I might start saying no to that dislike button apparently. But if you really, really, really like this content, make sure you subscribe, and also ring that bell icon so that way you get notified every single time we post a Whiteboard Wednesday right here at Endless Events. I hope you guys have enjoyed this content. My name is Will Curran, and let's get out of here.